Hello, everybody, and happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. I had a great weekend, but once again was reminded I am not in my 20s anymore, and I am on the struggle bus today, paying the price for having a great weekend. But that's okay, it was worth it. I am Terry True Crime, and welcome to Midday Missing, where we highlight current missing person cases that need more attention. I also want to welcome you to TCWT Media, your home for compelling true crime and a variety of engaging content, all within a supportive community. We produce a diverse range of shows, including both true crime and non true crime shows. So, whether you're here for the gripping true crime stories or our entertaining non true crime discussions, TCWT Media has something for everyone. And guys, stay tuned. We have more series that will be coming soon. Now, I want to tell you, live stream several days a week and also drop video content. So you're going to want to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's completely free and you can stay up to date on all of our content. And guys, we only need 6 more subscribers to hit 1,000. And if you're new here at 1,000, we are going to have a live stream party. There will be lots of craziness. JT's going to do some dares. I'm going to do some dares. It's going to be a truly bonkers but fun party. Hopefully, it's next week because I've given up alcohol for the week. So please subscribe, share our videos with your friends, family, loved ones, maybe even people that you don't really like. Ask them to please subscribe. Now, for those of you that want more of me and JT's craziness, you can also become a channel member. So, channel members, you get early access to select shows. You get episodes a week early for Dearest Mother's Darkest Secrets. We also are going to start giving you guys some behind the scenes footage, some members only live chats, and bonus episodes. And just to let you know, JT doesn't know this and he's not here, so I can tell you, I am working on releasing some videos from before we live streamed. And we never intended to release those, but I have some funny stuff that we are going to release. Or I should say, I'm going to release. And I'm just going to hope that our producer, Tara and JT, do not haunt me for it. So, we also have special badges and emojis that you can use in our live chats. So, if you're interested, you can go and click the join button. We have a couple of different levels for you. I promise you, it's a lot of fun. So, today we are going to talk about a beautiful, intelligent young child, Alexis Patterson. Alexis was a vibrant, intelligent child. She was just 7 years old at the time of her disappearance. She lived with her mother, Ayanna Patterson, and her stepfather, LaRon, I think it's Bourgeois. Let's go with it, who was reported he was a low-level drug dealer. Now, by all accounts, Alexis was a very happy child. Her teachers loved her, her friends. They said she was just very pleasant. But May 3rd, 2002 was the day that her young life took a dark turn. So the morning of May 3rd, 2002 started with a troubling event. According to Alexis' stepbrother, who was just 5 years old at the time, Alexis, he said, got a whooping that morning. While this isn't a violent or life threatening incident, it's still somewhat significant. Her stepbrother said Ayanna hit Alexis on the arm because she was pretending not to know how to put her socks on. And afterward, Alexis cried. And that's when her stepfather, LaRon, took her to school. Now, Alexis had been late for school about 20 times during her first grade year because she often walked alone to school. Her school was less than 2 blocks from her house. And this particular morning, we don't know if it's because she got in trouble or what. He decided LaRon was going to walk her to the corner, and he says he saw her heading towards school. A school crossing guard who was in fifth grade at the time was stationed at the corner that morning. When questioned years later, he couldn't specifically recall whether LaRon had walked Alexis to the corner that day. I mean, come on, guys. He was in fifth grade, and you wait to ask him questions years later. I can't even remember half of what I did Saturday night. Okay. But something else stands out that morning. Okay. The next morning, LaRon returned to the intersection in tears. I can't help but think, was this a sign of guilt, grief, or was it just overwhelming emotion of a man whose stepdaughter had gone missing? The hours after Alexis failed to return home from school were critical. Her mother immediately grew concerned when Alexis didn't walk through the door that afternoon. Iona quickly contacted the school, only to be told the devastating news. Alexis hadn't attended class at all that day. Now, guys, today I believe every school has a system and a program where they call you if your kids are not in school. Back then, that didn't happen. And I know this because I may have skipped school once or twice when I was in high school. But I do know now you get notified. So the parents don't have to wait till the end of the day to find out. Now, Milwaukee police were called and the search for Alexis began immediately. I mean, within hours, the community had rallied to look for her. Flyers with her picture went up all over the neighborhood, and the media covered her story pretty extensively. Tips poured in, but none led to Alexis. And guys, her disappearance sent shockwaves through that very tight knit community because it was hard to believe that something like this could happen in broad daylight. I mean, she was walking to school and was never seen again. Guys, how many people are out in or taking their own kids to school, heading to work, heading places that they didn't see anything? Despite the massive search efforts, days turned into weeks, and weeks have turned into years, and there is no trace of Alexis to this day. Now, with almost every missing person case, suspicion and theories soon emerged. Now, one of the early focuses of the investigation was on Alexa's stepfather because he was the last person to see her that morning. Her stepfather, LaRon, had a history of selling drugs, and his lifestyle may have put Alexis and her family in danger. I mean, he had both robbed and been robbed by armed drug dealers. Yes, you heard me right. He also robbed other drug dealers to get drugs to sell. According to police files, LaRon had repeatedly been involved in violent incidents with other drug dealers in the 3 years before Alexis went missing. These dangerous interactions often took place in and around their home. What's even more alarming is that a man who had been supplying LaRon with drugs showed up at Alexis's house the same morning she disappeared. He told police he had been to the house early in the morning once before. But according to the files, LaRon mentioned that police had raided his home just days earlier and that this man had come over to help clean up. And the timing of this visit raises serious questions about what else might have been going on in the house the morning Alexis went missing. Guys, I have so many red flags just popping up in my head from the moment I read that. In the aftermath of Alexis' disappearance, her mother, Ayana, agreed to take a polygraph test right away. LaRon, however, consulted with a lawyer before agreeing to the test. Now, I want to say I am a strong believer in getting legal representation before you talk to the police, even and especially if you're innocent. Okay. So I'm not going to fault him for that. Okay. Now, according to an anonymous source from a Milwaukee Journal Sentinel story, LaRon reportedly failed the polygraph, specifically on one key question. Do you know where Alexis is right now? Now, LaRon later defended himself, claiming he hadn't lied and that the machine had only indicated deception on that one question. He has always maintained that he doesn't know what happened to Alexis. Now, both Ayana and Alexis's biological father, Kenya Campbell, provided DNA samples to authorities shortly after she disappeared. These samples were later used in 2016 when an Ohio woman came forward believing she might be Alexis. But, guys, sadly, after DNA testing, it was confirmed this woman was not Alexis. And there's more to this story, okay? The most unsettling part, multiple jailhouse informants claim that LaRon's drug supplier had either admitted or implied that he had kidnapped or killed Alexis. While these claims were never fully substantiated, they add yet another layer of darkness to this case. Because could the dangerous world of drugs that LaRon was in ultimately led to Alexis' disappearance? Because there were some stories that LaRon faked his house being raided by police and that he did it to not have to pay for the drugs. So then that drug supplier shows at his house the morning Alexis went missing. So very sus in my book. The FBI became involved in the case early on, and their conclusions were grim. They believed that either Anya or LaRon were involved in Alexa's disappearance, or that another family member or neighbor had taken her. Now, LaRon and Ayana divorced in 2005. He did wind up serving 5.5 years in prison after pleading guilty to felony heroin dealing charges in 2009. Now, he died in 2021 from a probable drug overdose, which means any secrets he had died with him unless he told someone else. Other theories are that some believe that Alexis may have been abducted by someone in the community, someone who could have been watching her that morning. Others wonder if a random predator was responsible. But it's hard to believe that a child could be taken in broad daylight without anyone noticing. But as we've learned since we've started doing Midday Missing, things like this can happen in the blink of an eye. And guys, I don't have this written down, but I can't help but wonder, did she really walk to school? Only person who says that she headed to school was her stepfather. He said he walked her. Did he walk her and give her to somebody? Did somebody come up, pull a gun, and try to rob him and take her? I mean, I have so many questions about that. Um, but despite, like I said, countless tips and theories, no solid leads have emerged. Alexis was a little girl who deserved to grow up and live a full life. Her memory remains a painful reminder of how easily a child can slip through the cracks, even when an entire city is watching. And I will forever wonder, did the world of drugs and crime that her stepfather were involved in lead to her disappearance? Or did someone close to her do something? And do they know more than they're telling? Or was it a random person that just happened to stumble upon her? What we do know is that Alexis Patterson's case is far from forgotten. As more information comes to light, the hope remains that we will one day learn the truth about what happened to this innocent child. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Alexis Patterson, remember, no matter how small or insignificant it seems, it takes that one little piece, that one little thread. Okay. So please contact the Milwaukee Police Department or your local authorities. Cases like these can hinge on just that one crucial piece of information. Alexis deserves to be found. Now, our next case is just as baffling. It makes my head hurt and makes my head spin. So, next up is Chance Leslie Englebert. The first thing I want to say is that I love that his middle name is Leslie. I'm guessing it's a family name. Um, Chance was a 25-year-old husband and father who disappeared on July 6, 2019, while visiting his in-laws and extended family in Gering, Nebraska. Guys, it is a case that is still shrouded in so much mystery. And today we're going to explore the little known facts and some information about the ongoing search for Chance. Chance was born December 2nd, 1993, near Edgemont, South Dakota, and he grew up on his family's ranch in Burdock with his parents and his two brothers. His mother described him as an athlete and a cowboy at heart, someone who loved the outdoors and worked hard at everything he did. Now, Chance was not a drugstore cowboy. He was a talented rodeo competitor, earning a bull riding scholarship to Laramie County Community College in Wyoming, where he gained a reputation as a champion rider. He also earned degrees in welding and diesel mechanics. Guys, that's a big deal. Bull riding is not easy, and it takes a special person to be able to do that. But he also his love for welding eventually led to a passion for demolition derby cars and racing, a hobby he was excited to share with his young son, Banks. Guys, I can just picture him going to the demolition derby and taking his little guy with him. I just love it. So Chance's life seemed to be heading in the right direction. He had recently started a new job in Moorcroft, Wyoming, just a week after being laid off from his previous welding position at a coal mine. Now, they said losing that job was a tough blow to him. Losing your job is a tough blow to anyone. But guys, he quickly secured another opportunity. They said in a week. I mean, that showed his family and everyone his determination to provide for his family. It shows you he was not going to sit on his laurels, right? He was not going to let that blow derail him. But during a visit to his wife Bailey's family in Nebraska for the 4th of July weekend, everything changed. So on July 6, 2019, Chance spent the afternoon golfing with Bailey's father, his father in law, and her sister's boyfriend. Now, according to Bailey, Chance seemed to be enjoying himself, but later that day, he called her asking to be picked up. He was upset by a comment someone in that group made about his new job. And she said they did not argue on the drive back to her grandparents' house, but when they arrived, Chance got out of the car and walked away. Bailey thought nothing of it at first because it wasn't unusual for Chance to take a walk to cool off when he was upset. Guys, I am known for when Double H and I do argue, which is rare. I have been known to get in the car and take a drive because I learned in my previous marriages when you're angry, it's best to just walk away. So I first want to say I applaud him for realizing he needed to take a walk because think about it. Her family member said something that upset him. He didn't probably want to lay all of that and vent to his wife because, as they say, I can talk shit about my family, but you can't kind of thing. So I think he did the right thing. However, when he didn't soon return, Bailey became worried and she started trying to reach him. He finally answered his phone at 7:46 that night, telling her he was walking south toward Kimball. However, guys, his friends later reported he had told them he was heading north toward Torrington, Wyoming. The last known contact was with his friend Matt Miller at around 8:46 p.m. Now, shortly after that, Chance sent a cryptic text to his aunt at 9:08 p.m. Then his phone went dark. Guys, that mean his phone either died or it was turned off. Also, that night, a severe thunderstorm swept through Gering, adding another layer of uncertainty and mystery to Chance's disappearance. His family and Bailey's relatives searched for him throughout the night, but no trace of him was found. By the next morning, when Chance still hadn't returned, Bailey notified local law enforcement and a massive search effort was launched. Drones, helicopters, divers, and canine units scoured over 2,400 acres of land, water, and air. Sadly, despite these efforts, no trace of Chance was found. Now, while investigating, they did find surveillance footage, and it captured Chance walking near Terrytown, Nebraska, around 10 p.m. that night. But after that, it he vanished without a trace, guys. There is no other footage of him. And for months after his disappearance, there were some reported sightings of Chance in both Wyoming and Nebraska, including an alleged sighting in a Walmart in Casper, Wyoming. But after reviewing hours of footage, police were unable to confirm it was him. And guys, I often say, you can't just disappear without a trace. Aliens didn't come down and beam him up. But in the small areas of Nebraska, Wyoming, those areas, if you're out walking on a dark dirt road, a farm to market road, there are no cameras. There are not people driving by. You could go missing and no one see you. The investigation into Chance's disappearance remains open today, with the Gering Police Department following up on any and every lead that comes their way. And guys, what we've learned here at Midday Missing, that doesn't happen everywhere. Law enforcement has so many cases on their plate, they don't have the time. But Gering Police Department says they will follow up on any lead. In October 2021, a human arm bone was found near the North Platte River in Scotts Bluff, Nebraska. Initial DNA testing was inconclusive, but a second round of tests is still pending to see if potentially it's Chance. However, authorities believe the remains most likely are not connected to Chance, as the bones were found with fabric that doesn't match with Chance. So if it doesn't match with Chance, we hope that the DNA will help another family get some closure that they need. Now, the Engelbert family is still desperately seeking answers, and they urge anyone with any information to come forward. As Chance's mother, Dawn, said, please, if you know anything, just call somebody. Now, in honor of Chance's 29th birthday, his maternal grandmother donated $200,000 to the reward fund, bringing that total to $220,000. Her husband had said, Linda, you can buy anything you want. What do you want? And she said, I want what I want, I can't buy. I want to find Chance. Now, that additional reward expired in December of 2023, and today the reward sits at $20,000. Chance's family is still holding out hope. So if you have any information about Chance's whereabouts, please contact the Gering Police Department at 308 436 5088. And you can also do anonymous tips to the We Help the Missing tip line at 866 660 4025. And as always, you can go to fbi.gov/tips and do anonymous tips through there. Also, as I do after every episode, I'm going to ask you to please share the missing person flyers that we post on our social media. It is a way to get the pictures out there. The Alexis, it is a time-generated photo to be what she would look like today. And then, of course, Chance's photo. So please share those. Now, I don't have a cute little story today. Instead, because we're going into the holiday season, I will say that I asked Double H if I could put up our Christmas tree before Thanksgiving, and he told me not no, but hell no, because we're not doing that. But I know a lot of other people who are putting up their Christmas trees and they are already getting into the holiday spirit. So I thought I would share some tips that I found posted by the Washoe, I believe, County Sheriff's Office. So, tip number one, the holidays are a great time to get to know your neighbors. If you haven't already done so, the holiday season is a great time to get to know the people who live next door to you or across the street, behind the back fence, because neighbors watching out for neighbors help keep an eye out for suspicious activity and makes community safer. So I highly recommend that. Next, parking lot safety tips because we all need those. Lock your vehicles and hide your valuables, preferably in the trunk or locked compartment. Now, before sunrise and after sunset, park and walk in well lit areas. Guys, absolutely do this, even at a mall parking lot, if you still go to the mall, and carry your keys in your hands. Stay alert. Do not be on your cell phone talking to someone. Guys, I have parked and been on a call, went in to shop and came out and didn't remember where I parked because I was on the phone. What that says is somebody could have come up and done something to me because I wasn't paying attention. Okay. So stay alert to your surroundings. Take a moment to glance around for possibly suspicious persons, vehicles, or situations because maybe you will see something happening to somebody else and you can be the hero that helps them. Also, before you get in your vehicle, take a look inside and around before entering. So, some people have been with me and they're like, Terry, why do you walk around your car before you get in? Well, because I want to make sure somebody didn't get in my car and I want to make sure they're not hiding in my back seat. Okay. If it's dark outside, I will also sometimes lean and look under the car because what if they're laying under my car and they reach to grab out for my legs? Okay. I know I live in the true crime world, but it's something we need to do. So, and if you observe any evidence that your car has been tampered with, do not get in your car. Call 911 and start walking away from your car. Now, I said about the parking lots, but also when you're out shopping, be alert for thieves because if you have tons of packages in your hands, you are an easy target. Okay. So you need to maintain visibility and mobility to avoid these threats. So, guys, I have, during the holiday seasons, I have gone out, locked stuff in my car, and gone back in because I don't want my arms full. And you also need to be wary of strangers coming up to you for any reason. Okay. Because the holiday season, the notorious con artists come out and they could be trying to distract you because they want to steal your shopping bags, your purse, or even you. Okay. Now, when possible, avoid wearing expensive jewelry and carrying large amounts of valuables. To my friends in North Dallas, when we used to go shopping, we used to get all dolled up to go to the Galleria, put on all of our bling, carry our expensive purses. And now that I'm older and I live in this world even more, we were prime targets. We were walking billboards saying, hey, please come jack with me. So please don't do that. Okay. Also, as an added precaution, make sure you have a record of all of your credit card numbers in a secure place at home. We have all of ours on an Excel spreadsheet with the credit card numbers, all of the digits, the phone number. You want to have all of that because you will want to report them stolen immediately. And next tip, shop with your friends. Okay. Yes, there's safety in numbers, but it's also more fun. Okay. Grab a friend and go shopping because the more in a group, the less likely you are you're going to be targeted. Okay. And make sure you're all looking out for everything. Okay. Next, If you're shopping with children, keep a close eye on them at all times. Okay. Consider coaching them how to go to a store clerk or security guard if they become separated. Also, be sure they know their first and last name so they can advise someone who they are. Also, make sure they know your name. So, when my granddaughter Monkey Butt was younger, we were out shopping somewhere. She had come to visit us in California and she walked away and she couldn't find us. And a lady came up and talked to her. And I was walking up and the lady asked, "What's your grandmother's name?" And she said, "Momo." I realized at that point I had never told Monkey Butt my first name. How could she tell somebody? So make sure they also know your first name and your last name if you're a grandparent. Also, if the children are old enough, have them memorize a contact phone number or have them carry it on their person in case they do become lost. Kids like to go wander. They like to hide in the clothing racks, or I know my boys did. Um, Keep an eye on them because it takes just a minute for something horrible to happen to them. Guys, you also have to be safe online shopping. Okay. Online shopping, as we all know, is increasingly popular. Or if you're like me, I don't like to shop. I shop online, and the internet has risk. So it's important to take steps to protect yourself when shopping. So, one thing I just learned recently, if you go to a website and you're going to shop, look up in the line. And if it doesn't say HTTPS, it's not a secure site. That S means that it is a secure site. Do not put your credit card in any online form that does not have that S for showing it's secure. They are not secure to take credit card payments. Okay. Also, the National Cybersecurity Alliance recommends you make sure you have a firewall, antivirus, anti spyware. Okay. And you want to make sure you keep them up to date. Okay. Because they do those security updates because someone has found a way to get around it. Okay. So before you enter your credit card or personal information into a website, look for that S. Okay. Also, do not click on links that come to your cell phone that text and say, "Hey, we have problems with your package. Click this link." Do not do it. Okay. Do not do it. We're all going to be doing a lot more online shopping. The scammers are going to be out. Okay. Also, never send cash through the mail or use a money wiring service to pay for something. If you buy something on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Etsy, use Venmo, use something that gives you security, use your credit card. Do not send cash. You can't get that back. Okay. You also want to print and save records of all of your online transactions. Okay. You want to check your credit card statements every month. I have had a situation where I bought one thing on a site. That one month, it was great. The next month, I had two other charges and I hadn't bought anything. So you want to check those. Also, guys, you want to keep your home safe during the holidays. Okay. You need to be extra cautious about locking your windows, your slide glass doors when you leave for any length of time and when you are home. Okay. People may think it's crazy. We live on an acre. There are houses next to us. Everything is still locked. Yes. And we have cameras inside our home and outside of our home. And we still do that. You never know when somebody is going to just try to walk in your door. Okay. Also, set some indoor and outdoor lights on timers. Okay. Let your house look like you're lived in. Have now with, I can't say her name, but Alexis or A. If I say her name, she will talk to me. You can set her to turn on your TV or the radio for you at a certain time. Okay. So if you're not home, go ahead and do that so it looks like someone's home. Okay. And guys, never keep your gifts or valuables in plain view from any window. I know friends and family who put their Christmas tree right in the front room of the house with the blinds open, shutters open so everybody can see the Christmas lights. Guess what? They also see all of the packages. And when you start putting a lot of packages underneath there, you are making it more enticing to them. So do not do that. Okay. Also, and this is year round, not just the holidays, teach your children to never open the door to anyone without your knowledge or authorization. We've even told Monkey Butt, because she's at home sometimes for an hour or so by herself, even, excuse me, even if I come and knock on her door, she should not open that door until she calls her mom and lets her mom know I'm there. Okay. I'm her grandmother. I am her mama. She still shouldn't, because what if somebody has gotten me and is forcing me to do it and trying to make me do something bad? I wouldn't have called my daughter in love, she wouldn't know. Because if I'm going to pick up my granddaughter, my daughter in love knows before I go there. So tell them, even if it's a grandparent, don't do it. And Sammy Sunshine just posted in the chat. They can also see the layout of the front room. Abso-freaking-lutely they can. Don't do it. Just don't. Okay. So another thing, follow your local law enforcement on social media. They now have the neighborhood app. Follow that. They report things because it helps you know what's going on where you live. And if you have a neighborhood safety service, sign up with them. If you have a neighborhood watch group, sign up with them. Okay. Or maybe you should start one. We have one here in our neighborhood. We are a gated section, but our developers bought the land behind us, tore down all of the beautiful trees, and is building thousands of more homes that are not on the gated side. And now our gate is left open from 9 a.m. to I think 5 p.m. every day. So you need to know what's going on. I can see on there, even on Facebook, I'm in our Facebook group, that there's been cars being broken into in that section at night. Yes, we are on the gated side, but guess what? You can crawl over that gate. Okay. They can still get into your neighborhood. And this next one is a biggie. And they said for during the holidays, I am going to tell you this anytime. I told you this when I gave you travel tips. Let someone you know that is trustworthy, that you will be out of town, where you will be, and ask a neighbor to watch out for your house. Get your newspapers, if you still get one, and your mailbox. Anytime we're gone, we have our friends across the street. They not only watch our dogs and our cats, they check our mail. Okay. They make sure it looks like somebody's coming and going, and we do the same for them. And anytime we go out of town, I not only tell Double H, of course, I'm married to him, but I also tell my older son and my bestie knows. Okay. You need to let people know. Also, during this time, if you live somewhere, even in Texas, weather is an important factor for holiday travelers. Okay, guys. Back, I want to say it's 5 or 6 years ago, where we used to live in Dallas, 2 days before Christmas, a tornado hit and leveled a lot of houses. People were killed when their cars were knocked off of the Beltway. That was right before Christmas, guys, and it was dark out. I never had paid attention that hurricanes happened, that not hurricanes, tornadoes happen. We normally get them in the spring and fall, but this was Christmas. There's also blizzards, snowstorms, rainstorms. Okay. It is a hazard. So you also want to stay tuned to weather conditions. Also, even in my car here in Texas, the chances of me having a snowstorm up until a couple of years ago were pretty small. Then we had Snowmageddon. Okay, we had no power, and I had 5 inches of snow, I think it was. So we didn't have a lot, but we had no power. Some people had no power for a week. But in my car, I keep blankets, always keep my car full of gas. I keep water. I keep protein bars. I keep a first aid kit. You want to make sure you do that. We're all going to be driving to go see family during this time. Make sure you have stuff in your car. Okay. Now, this one, y'all are going to laugh at me, but celebrate responsibly. Like Saturday night, I will say I did not necessarily celebrate responsibly. Well, I guess I can say because we celebrated some out and then we continued celebrating at home is when we decided to drink way too much. But you need to watch how much you drink, especially if you're out and about. You Something could happen to you. And when you're drinking, your inhibitions are lowered. Somebody can walk up and do something to you. So make sure, like we typically do, we make sure we have a designated driver, someone who stays sober and takes care of us. So now that we have Uber, use it. You know what? Uber is cheap compared to you losing your life. So please be careful. Also, if you are going out to clubs, nightclubs, bars, restaurants to celebrate this holiday season, do not leave your drink unattended. Sadly, it happens. It happens in Austin way more than I like to admit it happens. People slip things in people's drinks. So do not leave your drink unattended. Okay. Make sure of that. So I know that sounds like I'm being a little paranoid, but I want everyone to have a safe holiday season. I do not want to be reporting on Midday Missing that someone who follows us went missing. I don't want to have to talk about one of our followers on True Crime and Wine Time because they've been killed or raped or beaten. Let's let's look out for people, okay? So I want to thank you for joining me today. And I want you to remember these cases involve real people, real families, and real pain. And I want you to remember when somebody goes missing, it's not just that person, it is everyone who loved them, knew them, is in the community with them. Everybody is hurting. So please remember that. And I do look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday for our next episode of Midday Missing. We will have a sister on with us and we will have more information about that as we talk about the disappearance of William Gray. Now, tonight at 8 Central, we will be on again live with a special True Crime and Wine Time episode, and we will have a special guest, Anthony Christopher, and he is going to share his experiences with Bunny Boiler LaDonna Humphrey and his experience of working with Javier on the Pretend podcast. They did a full episode about Bunny Boiler LaDonna Humphrey. And guys, LaDonna Humphrey is my first person I've called a bunny boiler who hasn't killed someone or an animal. This, you're going to want to watch this. Okay. And if you haven't listened to the Pretend podcast episode, I think it's season 19 or season 9. I should have written that down. You want to go listen. She is batshit crazy and she is a bunny boiler to say the least. You are going to want to watch this episode tonight because it's a story that sounds like it should be in a movie. When I first met Anthony and he was telling me, I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this. I don't know. Then I started hearing more and more. And then I decided to go down the rabbit hole. Holy shit, it is 100% real life. Somebody needs to make a movie about it. I know Dateline made the show something about Pam, I think is what it was called. Somebody needs to do a Bunny Boiler LaDonna Humphrey show. Who knows? Maybe Javier and his team over at the Pretend are doing that, but they need to. So I'm going to tell you, grab your wine. I will be drinking sparkling water, no alcohol. I'm going to tell you, come and join us. If you can't, I know it's a Monday night, be sure to watch it on replay. It's going to be good. And don't forget, you can also join our Facebook group. Follow us on all of our social media platforms to stay connected, be part of the conversation. And remember, you can catch all of our shows right here on YouTube. Some of them we also live stream on Facebook, but not all of them. And you can listen to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. We started last week releasing Midday Missing on our podcast platform. It is the exact same audio here. We did that to get the word out more. There are some people who want to listen in their car. They don't want to go to the YouTube app. They just like to go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeart and listen. So we started doing that. So as always, guys, I want you to please stay safe, watch out for crime, and you guys enjoy your wine time. I'm going to enjoy my water time. But most importantly, share these missing person flyers and watch out for your loved ones. And as always, please, please stay safe. And I will see you guys all tonight. If not, I will see you back on Wednesday. Have a good one, guys.